السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. There was a caravan of Muslim companions who were traveling. The leader of that caravan was Abdullah ibn Masud radiallahu ta'ala anhu. They were outside the city of Medina, in the middle of nowhere, in a road that goes from Medina to Iraq. And while they were traveling, they saw a female, a woman, who was standing on the side of the road, and she was asking for help. So let's hold on at this stage, and we'll continue from there. Now, there's a companion of Prophet ﷺ who was at his deathbed, and his wife was crying next to her. And the wife mentioned to him that, we are in the middle of nowhere, and I am a single woman, and they also had a little boy who not had help in case of any situation like with the funeral prayer or with the burial. So she said that, I am scared that how will I take care of you? How would I bury you? How would I take care of the funeral prayer and everything? The dying companion said, I am not a liar, and the person that I believed on was not a liar at all, was definitely not a liar. That is Rasulullah ﷺ. And I remember he mentioned in one of the gatherings that one of us will be dying and a group of Muslims will attend the funeral prayer, will make arrangements for the funeral and the burial. And I'm sure he was talking about me because the other members who were sitting there, other companions, they have already passed away. So therefore, you do not be worried. You go ahead. We know we are outside the city, but you go ahead, stand on the side of the road. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send somebody. So the wife came out on the road, and that's when she saw a group of riders, and she attended to them. Now, when she told those riders that what is happening, when they asked her that, what's going on, and she asked for help, that a companion of Rasulullah ﷺ is dying, and I need help with the funeral and with burial and everything. So the leader of that caravan was Abdullah ibn Masud radiallahu ta'ala. So he went ahead and he looked at the companion and he started crying. The companion who was dying was Abu Dhar Al Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala. And Abdullah ibn Masud said that I remember the day when Rasulullah mentioned that Abu Dhar is going to walk alone, that is live alone, is going to die alone, and he's going to be resurrected alone as well. Abdullah ibn Masud and his friends, they took care of the burial. They attended, they prayed the Salatul Janaza and took care of the burial in the family for Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala. So who is Abu Dhar Ghiffari? Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala, I know his real name is Hazrat Jundub ibn Janada. Hazrat Jundub ibn Janada. Now Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala anhu belonged to the tribe Ghaffar. The two tribes, Banu Ghaffar and Banu Aslam, they were notorious in that time. They were kind of highway bandits. They would be involved in robberies. And Hazrat Abu Dhar Ghiffari was one of them. But he was not an idol worshipper. So something happened even before the Islam that he said, well, this kind of lifestyle, robbing people and caravans, acting as a bandit, that's does not seem to be an appropriate lifestyle. So he actually left that lifestyle even before Islam, or embracing Islam, and he actually lived in a different, like, segregated area with his mother. And it is also said that his brother Anis also joined him. So this family stayed away from the regular bandits and robberies, and they were leading a more simple life. Then he hears that there's a prophet who came in Mecca. So what he did, that he sent his brother. His brother Anis was also a poet. So he asked him, why don't you go and check out, see what's this man about, this man is all about, what this new religion is all about, and come back and give me some reports. So Anis went there. He kind of understood that there's a hostility in Mecca, and then he got the message of Rasulullah ﷺ and came back and gave the report that, this is what he talks about, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is not poetry. His message is not poetry. He was a poet himself. Anis was a poet himself. He said, it's not a poetry. So he kind of gave a positive response. He gave a positive report. But Abu Dhar Al Ghiffari wasn't satisfied. He said that I need to check it myself. So he came to Mecca himself. Now, he just kind of, kept it to himself because he knew there was some hostility. So did not want to ask anybody directly. So he just stayed there. And, he said that I used to drink Zamzam and just stayed in the Haram area. I did not ask anybody. So Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he kind of spotted him and asked him some questions and understood that he was a stranger. So he invited him to his place and offered him some food. Then he saw him again the next day, and he asked him, what is the real reason you are here? And Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala anhu told him. So Abu Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu took him to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Rasulullah introduced Islam to him, and he embraced Islam. And that was the early time of Makkah period. It is said that Abu Dhar Ghiffari was likely either the 5th or the 6th person to embrace Islam. And Abdullah ibn Masud, which actually finally kind of helped with his burial and funeral prayer, it is said that Abu Dhar Ghiffari, embraced Islam just like in close to his embrace, his like accepting Islam. So Abu Dhar Ghiffari embraced Islam just before or after Abdullah ibn Masud. So he's the 5th or the 6th person who embraced Islam. But then why we do not know a lot about him, like commonly speaking? What happened actually is that because he was not from Mecca, because he was not local. So Rasulullah advised him to go back and actually stay with his tribe. And then and recommended that when he hears that Rasulullah overpowered Quraysh or their condition have changed, he should join them. So he actually left Mecca and stayed with his family. He introduced Islam to his mother, who became Muslim. Then he introduced Islam to his brother Anis, who became Muslim. So there was a Muslim family there now. And then he joined Rasulullah after the conquest of Mecca in Medina, rather in 8th or 9th Hijrah. And it is said that when he joined Rasulullah, at least 50% of the Banu Ghaffar tribe, they had embraced Islam through him. So 50% of his tribe, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided them through him. Now, Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala anhu had a very unique personality. Every Sahabi has their particular traits. Radiallahu anhum wa radu an. Ridwanullah alayhim ajma'in. And every Sahabi is unique. Abu Dhar Al Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala, he was very straightforward in following the letter and the spirit both of Islam. So things were either white for him for most of the time, or they were black. There wasn't anything gray. There wasn't anything in the middle. When he embraced Islam, the first day, Rasulullah recommended and advised him not to disclose your Islam. Abu Dhar Al Ghiffari, very brave, very bold, passionate person, somebody who was involved in robberies and was a bandit. And then when he knew that this was the right path, he came out the next day and declared his Islam right in front of Khana Kaaba. And he declared his Islam right in front of Khana Kaaba. Now, Rasulullah did not give him a clear order. It was more of a recommendation to avoid hostility and all that. So, not to say that he did not listen to Rasulullah, but he declared his Islam right in front of Khana Kaaba at that time. And what happened? As expected, he was beaten up. He was beaten up, and he was brutally beaten until and unless Ibn Abbas, who was not Muslim at that time, had to intervene, and he told the Quraysh, he's from Banu Ghaffar. And are you going to, kill him? So the Banu Ghaffar tribe, none of your caravans, the trade caravans, will be ever safe again. So because of that, they let him go. It is reported that he repeated the same thing the next day and was again beaten, and again Ibn Abbas intervened, otherwise he would have been killed. But finally he came back and then went to his own tribe, as I told earlier. So he had that righteousness that he will follow the letter and spirit of Islam and will not mix things. He was very clear about what he needs to do. Just to give you an idea about his personality, that once Rasulullah told the companions that, whoever says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, that is kalima, even if he is sinful Muslim, eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive him and will make him enter the Jannah. So Abu Dhar Al Ghiffari said, Ya Rasulullah, even if that person commits adultery and if he steals? So Rasulullah replied, yes, even if he commits adultery and even if he steals. So that question gives you an idea about his thought process and mentality. So he asked again. Rasulullah replied again. So he asked 4 times. He asked the same question 4 times to Rasulullah, that even if that person commits adultery and if that person steals, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still forgive him? Rasulullah said, yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still forgive him. And Rasulullah also said that, and even if Abu Dhar does not like that. So that gives you an insight into his thought process. And he was very righteous, very hardworking Muslim. What happened in Ghazwat Tabuk, that lots of munafiqeen, lots of people, they made excuses to stay behind, and they did not join the army. People would tell Rasulullah that, so and so is not here, so and so not here. And somebody mentioned to Rasulullah ﷺ that, Ya Rasulullah, Abu Dhar is not in the army. Rasulullah ﷺ said that if there is any khair in him, he will join us. And then one day, somebody said, oh, there is somebody who is coming in. There's somebody who is coming in from the distance. They could see him. And they told Rasulullah ﷺ about it, that somebody is joining the army. And Rasulullah ﷺ said that, I hope this is Abu Dhar. So that was the relationship, the optimism, the expectation of Rasulullah ﷺ from Abu Dhar Ghiffari. And he eventually joined the army. And listen to this, what had happened to him? That his camel was sick, or it died, or something happened to him, it would not walk. So Abu Dhar Ghiffari took his luggage and started walking towards the army. It is also reported that he started running. He did not want to be behind. So he started running towards the army and finally joined. So there are lots of blessings, associated with Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala. It is also said that when he first went to meet Rasulullah ﷺ in Mecca, he was the first person who said Assalamu alaikum. This is also attributed to Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala. And Rasulullah ﷺ said about Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala that the heavens have not given shade on anyone, and the earth does not have anybody above him that walks on it that is more truthful than Abu Dhar Ghiffari radiallahu ta'ala. There is a very famous hadith which is about a particular advice of Rasulullah ﷺ to Abu Dhar Ghiffari. And Rasulullah ﷺ advised Abu Dhar Ghiffari, and he kind of, made sure that he follows every bit of that. Rasulullah ﷺ told him, you need to love poor and you need to be close to them. And always look at the people who are below you in terms of like finances. And you need to be careful about the ties of kinship.